Students, now let's continue with our next topic of chapter 2, forms of business organization. Up till now we have studied sole proprietorship, joint do family, partnership firm and cooperative society, which are the forms of business organization. Now we are going to study next form of business organization, that is joint stock company. As we have seen that sole proprietorship, partnership are the form of business organization which is suitable for small and medium scale business, because it has limitation of investing capital by its owners only. Now we will see joint stock company. So joint stock company is a voluntary association of a people who contribute their capitals in the form of shares for common purpose. So its capital is divided into transferable shares, the ownership of which is the condition of membership. Those who invest capital in a form of shares, they are the owners of the joint stock company. The formation and registration of joint stock company takes place under Indian Companies Act 1956. See the various example of joint stock company: Siemens, Procter and Gamble, Johnson and Johnson, Xerox, Thales, Unilever, IBM, Ericsson, Oracle, Vodafone. These are the joint stock company which are operating on large scale and invite their capitals from the public in the form of shares. These shares are transferable and bought and sold in the stock market. Now see the features of joint stock company to have a better understanding. So number 1, artificial person. As company has not any physical body like human body, so it is known as artificial person because it is created by law and it is operated by the elected members called representatives, like a board of directors. But the entire business of company is run in the name of the company. So every company holds some specific name under which all operations are carried out by the members. Number 2 is separate legal entity. That means company has separate legal existence from its member. It has its own name so that it can buy and sell assets and carrying out its operation in its own name. It can enter into any contract with the outsider in its own name. So the members and the company are separate entity. Next one is formation require legal formalities. That means registration. It is legally compulsory for a company to get itself registered under the Companies Act 1956. After getting registration, it comes into an existence. Next one is perpetual succession. Perpetual succession means a company works independently from its members. As it is created by law, that's why ended by law, by legal procedure of winding up. So insolvency, incapacity and death of any member does not affect the operations of the company. Any member can enter and exit the company anytime, but company's operation can continue for indefinite period until it is wound up by the procedure mentioned in Companies Act 1956. Next one is management is under board of directors. As company is separated from its owners, so all management is carried out by the board of directors. Board of directors are the group of people who take all crucial decisions for the company. Now the liability of owner is limited. So liability of owners means shareholders are limited to the extent of their capital contributed in the company. Say for example, you have invested 5,000 shares in the company of rupees 10. So your liability is limited up to rupees 50,000 in the company. You are not liable in case of any financial crisis from your personal assets. Next one is use of common seal. As company cannot sign any papers by its own because it is not a natural human being, so a common seal is created in on which a company's name is embedded. So to enter into any contract, this common seal is used in place of signature to bind the company for that particular transaction. Alright, I hope you understood the topic and the features and concept of joint stock company very well. Now see its merits and advantages. Number one is large amount of capital. As we know, capital fund of company is raised through public in a form of shares. So its capital is divided into small unit named shares. So it has a scope of arranging more funds from the general public in a form of shares. So a person having small savings can also buy the shares of the company. Number two is limited liability. Liability of the shareholders of the company is limited to the extent of their capital contributed in the company in a form of shares. So at the time of financial crisis or any kind of losses, creditors and outsiders cannot claim on the shareholders from their personal assets. Next one is continuity or stability. That as we have seen the features, perpetual succession, that means the identity of a company or existence of a company is independent from their members, so it enjoys perpetual succession. That means continuity irrespective of the exit or entry of the members. That means incapacity, insolvency or death of any member doesn't affect the operation of the company. Next one is efficient management. As company bears a huge fund, so it can hire management professionals to manage the operational activities. They are the experts in their fields, so they are capable to bring efficiency in working of the company. Next one is growth and expansion. As company has huge financial resources and other resources, so there is more scope for growth and expansion to employ their financial resources in developmental projects, because the expected returns of the company is very high. That's why they have sufficient retained earnings to invest in the developmental project to achieve growth and expansion. Now next one is easy transferability of shares. The shares of the company can easily bought and sold in the market. So any person holding shares of the company is in need of the money can easily sell their share in the stock market and arrange fund which bring liquidity in the share market. Next one is public confidence. As a company has to publish their accounts in the annual reports, so public has more faith and trust in the joint stock company in compared to partnership. It is democratic management. As all management activities are carried out by the board of directors who are elected by the shareholders, and every decision is taken by the directors on the basis of voting by calling board meetings. So best interest of majority of shareholder is served. Next one is dispersal of ownership. As shares of the company can be bought by any persons, one who invests capital in a form of share in the company becomes an owner. So the ownership of company dispersed into a large number of people, which is not restricted in a few hands. Next one is social responsibilities. As company uses societal resources, so large company serve their social objective by contributing a large fund for welfare activities like establishing schools, libraries, hospital, colleges, training centers, etc. Now have a look on disadvantages of joint stock company. So number one is lengthy and expensive legal procedure. As formation of company involves complicated and lengthy formalities, many documentations are to be prepared. Many legal formalities are to be completed, so it required some expert to be hired who charge high fees. So formation involves a complicated procedure and huge cost. Number two, lack of motivation. As we know, there is a separation between owners and the managers. Managers get salary for their services, so there is no direct relationship between efforts and rewards. Whatever company earns profit, it does not affect the salary of the managers, so sometimes they feel demotivated. Next one is delay in decision. As in company organization, all the important decisions are taken by the board of directors by consulting many people at various levels, and these decisions are communicated to everyone who are interested in it. So it involves a lengthy process and complicated process which leads to delay in decisions at the time of emergencies. Next one is excessive government control. As company is formed and registered under Companies Act 1956, so the company has to comply with various legal formalities at different stages, and there is a penalty if they fail to do so. Every year they have to file returns and annual reports with the registrar. So this legal interference in day-to-day operations result in lack of secrecy and lots of time and money is spent. Next one is conflict in interest. As the different stakeholders of the company like shareholder, debenture holders, employees, directors, suppliers have different interest in the company. Say for example, debenture holders wants a high rate of interest, whereas shareholders wish to give low rate of interest as they can get more dividend from the leftover profit. In this way, their different interests create conflicts in the company. Next one is oligarchic management. That means though company has democratic setup, but it is on paper only. In real practice, company is in the hand and control of few people, that is directors. So all important decisions are taken by the directors. So sometimes they take decisions by keeping in mind their own personal interest irrespective of the interest of stakeholders. Next one is unhealthy speculations. Freely buying and selling of companies' share will lead to unhealthy speculation, because in company organizations the directors make profit by manipulating the prices of the shares, as they know all the important information about shares. So they can take unnecessary advantages of this information. Then when prices of securities or shares will rise and fall, accordingly they buy and sell shares in the market and make profit. Next one is social evil. As the company has large financial resources, so there is a chance of conservation of wealth in the hands of few people or create monopolistic environment in the market. The concentration of economic power will result in exploitation of the consumers and employees. Last one is interference and influence in government decisions. As large companies have large financial resources, so they are in a position to influence the government decisions by their power. They generally bribe the government authorities to take decisions in companies' favor, ignoring the interest of general public. They generally offer large donation during election time to change the decision in favor of the company. All right.